Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel all about BI. In this session I am going to take you through the properties of data flow execution output. So every time a data flow runs, we'll have certain metrics associated with it. Number of records read, number of records written, what is the status of the data flow, whether it is completed or not, and what is the processing time. Everything we might want to capture for logging purpose and auditing purposes, right? So how do we approach the output JSON of the data flow execution is what I'm going to tell you in this session. So we have a documentation page where we have the complete details of it in a very understandable way. So if you come to this portion, which is use data flow activity results in a subsequent activity, why we have to understand the output of data flow? Because to use it in a subsequent activity. So under this heading you will see the JSON structure of the output of every data flow, right? So it all starts with run status. Under run status you will have metrics tag. Under the metrics keyword you will find all the metrics associated with every data flow execution. So if you want to capture number of rows written to a particular sync, how do we have to go about it is under run status metrics sync name. If it is sync 1, you will go to run status dot metrics dot sync 1 dot rows written. Okay, so rows written is very simple, it is straightforward. You just have to keep going inside the hierarchy until you reach rows written. But with respect to rows read, it is a little bit more nesting associated with, right? So under every sync what you will be having is so normally in real time you will have multiple syncs. So every sync will have a portion in your output JSON. Okay, if you have two syncs you will have two such blocks in the output JSON. Okay, so your sync 1, sync 2 and it goes on. Under every sync you will have a block of sources. Okay, so to a particular sync, say sync 1, you can have n number of sources. Say for example, if you have 3 sources that are merged and written to sync 1, right? Source 1, source 2, source 3. Under sync 1 you will have sources keyword. Under sources you will have 3 such blocks pertaining to every source. Okay, so if you have 3 sources, as I said, you will have source 1, source 2 and source 3. Under source 1, source 2, source 3 you will have the property rows read. Okay, so ultimately how we would be going through the output is run status dot metrics dot sync 1 dot sources dot source 1 dot rows read and then source 2 dot rows read. Like this we have to go about in the output JSON. Okay, so I hope this syntax is understandable and the format of output JSON is understandable. With that I'll just take you through the pipeline that I have a data flow. Once the data flow execution is complete, I have 3 set variable activities. In real time there is no need for set variable activity. You will be able to access the output JSON from any subsequent activities like if condition or whatever place you want to access, you can access it, right? So just for understanding purpose, I'm just having 3 set variable activities, one to assign rows read and rows written and data flow status. Okay, so how do we go about getting the metrics of rows read? As I said, we have to access data flow output run status. Inside that metrics sync 1, under sync 1 sources, and I just have one source, so it is just source 1 dot rows read. So once this is understandable, then understanding rows written is very simple because it's just less number of hierarchy compared to rows read. So inside rows written, under run status metrics sync 1 dot rows written. Okay, so how do you get the run status? Under metrics sync 1 progress state. Okay, so this is how you will be capturing the metrics. So if you see the execution details, number of rows read that were 8 and number of rows written were 7. One record got filtered out in the logic that we have it in the data flow, and then the status of data flow seems completed. Okay, this is the output. If you look at the JSON of this particular data flow execution, I'll just copy this to clipboard and then we'll take you through that. So here we will straight away go to metrics. Okay, under metrics we have sync1. Under sync1, in order to read the rows written, we have the property called rows written. So I have deleted some portion in between which is not required for the discussion. I'm sorry. So under metrics sync1 you have rows written, so you can directly access it. So for the rows read, as I said, inside every sync you will have a block for sources. So I am just going little bit down where we have sources. Under sources you have source 1 and rows read. Okay, so this is how we access the details of data flow execution. As I shown you in the pipeline, number of rows read were 8 and number of rows written were 7. Okay, and if you want to see the status, progress state completed. If you want to capture sync processing time, there is a property for it as well. So this is how we interpret the details of output JSON in a data flow activity. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comment